Laro-Laro, and welcome to the Council of Titos, the show on the Laro-Laro channel that talks about a different kind of game. The reality TV game show and social experiment that has run for over 2 decades, Survivor. I'm Chief Bisdak Joel Parcon, and with me as always is Vice Chief Bisdak Jao Atienza. What's up, Jao? How are you doing?
Hi, I've been listening to a lot of weird music lately. Like I'm on the weird part of YouTube now. There's this weird like Euro pop but metal band called Electric Callboy, which is like really good. And then I was listening to this weird punk band from Japan called Otoboke Beaver, which is just a bunch of girls shouting, basically. And the YouTube algorithm is like really good. So it ended up bringing me to this other group called Atarashi Gakko, which is this Japanese girl group that has this Euro pop sort of sound in some of their songs. So it's like, oh my god, YouTube algorithm
YouTube
so
knows
good.
you.
In other words, everybody please press like and subscribe. That way you can get more Survivor in your feed.
In your feed, yeah.
How are you, by the way?
I'm good, man. I thought you were gonna go with like you were listening to this and then you went to this Japanese metal band and then you found out that Sifu was part of a Japanese metal band. But anyway,
I mean, we don't have Martin to talk, so you know we might as well fill out a little bit of time catching up.
Yeah.
Yo, have you seen the game with Wembenyama and the Spurs game against
any Spurs game right now? I mean, he's a different player. 7-3, and then he moves that way. That's pretty cool.
He's a cheat code according to what's his name, Steph Curry.
Yeah, because imagine you've got Kevin Durant. It was already a very tall, athletic, sort of athletic and skilled player. And then you've got, and he's around 7 feet, and then you've got the Wembanyama, who's what 7'3". 7'4", and
7'4", I think.
Yeah, 7'4", and he's just as athletic, probably even more athletic. He's probably just as skilled. Right?
Yeah.
So he's definitely a cheat code. Definitely.
he's a center that can handle like a point guard.
Exactly. That's where basketball is headed. Tall players being able to bring the ball down like small guys.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's a different podcast, but
a different podcast. So for today, tonight, the Council of Two. We're missing Martin. He's having so much fun over in the land of the rising sun. Have fun out there, Marts. We miss you. We hope we see you again next week. Anyway, not you guys, the guys who are watching and listening to us right now. We're not yet finished with the podcast. Martin, come back next week. Tonight, the Council of Two, we'll talk about the latest episode of Survivor Season 45, entitled The Thorn in My Thumb. But before we begin, do consider hitting the subscribe button, as well as the notification bell, so you get updated whenever we come up with new episodes on this channel. And like what Zhao said, click on the like button so that the algorithm will give you more Survivor content. Right. And for those of you who don't want to have to look at our mugs whenever we talk about Survivor, you can always go wherever you get your podcasts and search for Council of Titos. And so, without further ado, let's begin. First, hi. I guess that we have to. I mean, you called it. You practically called it that this was going to be the victory day for D, right? That was such a. I mean, there was that payoff of them of that confessional of her sharing how big her big toes are, or no, how long actually her big toes are.
Yeah, although I will say that it didn't look like her toe came in clutch. It was like her legs and arms that came in clutch. But I'll take the dub.
Yeah, I mean, if she hadn't had that. If her big toes hadn't clutched on to those notches early on, right, she wouldn't have had the strength in her legs and her thighs in the end to hold on much longer than Kelly. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty close. It was pretty close, their matchup, and I'd love to say that I love the fact that it was the two of them who were
Mm,
fighting for that reward in the end. It wasn't like
yeah.
an Austin or a Caleb. I mean, yeah, that's going to be part of our lows, of course. Caleb not getting immunity, but yeah, yeah, it's cool to see, and it's something that I've noticed even in Australian Survivor. Endurance challenges favors petite women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That what's his name from 2 seasons ago? Jonathan pretty much showed us that, right? Like
Mm.
it isn't really an advantage to be like the big muscly dude. That's really good for the pre-merge, but once you're
Mm.
at the merge, it tends to be like the marathon runner types, you know?
Yeah.
Like if you look at the runners, if you look at runners, you have the sprinters, those guys are huge, and then you have the marathoners, those guys are really skinny.
Exactly.
It tends to be that second group of people that do very well in the post merge challenge because, like you said, a lot of them are endurance challenges.
Mhm.
So,
So we kind of wish that Drew might have probably lasted a little bit longer because he's like the skinniest. He's a Wembanyama. He's
but
their
he's,
Wembanyama.
but he's at a distinct disadvantage in this particular challenge because his feet are closer to the ground right at the beginning. Oh, that guy's so tall.
And it was so funny. He was asking Jeff to that if he's gonna come down, Jeff, you're gonna have to help me. I think he was scared of heights.
Yeah.
Uh,
You know,
yeah.
apparently, for this particular season, Jeff said that they could start at any point.
Mm-hmm.
But he was thinking that the next time that they pull out this immunity challenge, just for the aesthetics of it, like when he says 3, 2, 1, go, they all start at different heights and then they move down or whatever if
Oh,
they
if they want
are,
to.
yeah, if they want to, if they're scared of heights, as
Mm-hmm.
Drew appears to be, right? But yeah, that's something that I found interesting, right? That like, they all started at different heights,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I guess it looked kind of weird in the sense that it looked like we began the challenge immediate res,
Mm-hmm.
like right at the middle of everything
Yeah.
because they don't have a same starting point. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. That's just an observation, but
Or maybe in
uh,
the future they might include the climb, or unless they're being helped as they go. I don't think that the production helps them as they go up, right? I mean, you climb on your own way
I
up.
mean,
I
they
don't know.
should. It's Survivor. They have to earn everything in this new
Yeah.
era.
Right. Yeah, well, going back to D and her victory, yeah. I wonder if there was actually a shot of when they revealed their rocks, and then they looked towards D. They saw that they had the same colored rock, and then they were like, "Oh," because they know that she has the long toes. They know that she has the huge advantage for this challenge because of those notches and where she can put her long toes to good use. Right? That would have been nice to see if some of them actually thought that.
You know, I'm gonna say that this might be a spoiler for the season.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because the payoff for D's toe is now.
Mm-hmm.
We're not gonna have the pick stuff up with your feet and stack them
Mm.
together challenge. Or if that does happen, then D is gone by then. But then D has a lot of winner equity. She's making it to fire at least, I think.
Yeah,
But like, could be a spoiler for the season. I don't know.
maybe. Maybe, or if it might be them starting to show, like, you know what? You don't have to look perfect, even with long, big toes, right? You can still win Survivor.
Wouldn't it be amazing if like she makes it to fire and she lights the fire using her feet? Like
I don't know. That'd be a little too much, but yeah, that'd be
That would be
funny.
that
That
would
would
be
be
the
funny.
biggest move ever. That's like an instant win
Yeah,
right there. Like she can
yeah.
do absolutely nothing for the whole game, which she's actually doing quite a lot. But you
Hmm.
can do absolutely nothing for the whole game. Be dragged as sort of like a goat to the end, make it into fire, use your feet to light that fire. Doesn't matter. You're winning the million if that happens. So future survivors, try that out. Like learn how to strike a flint with your foot.
We'll see. We'll see if yeah, she has been making a lot of moves, or she's been showing that uh she's been getting a lot of good what do you call this, coverage from the production team
Like,
these past few episodes. And basically it was her who voted out Caleb, right? Who led that vote against Caleb, all
yeah.
because Caleb mentioned her and Mama Julie in the previous tribal, right?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to ask you about that, but we can talk about that in our lows.
Yeah, and yeah, we can talk about that in our, because I'm sure that's our first low. uh,
Yeah,
yeah. So what other high do you have?
I'm just gonna say that it's a bit of a joke high, but it's also like I actually found it tremendously adorable. How Kelly spelled Sifu's name. It's like
How did she spell it?
Seafowl,
Seafowl.
Seafou. Like, ooh, Seafowl.
I wonder. I mean, yeah, not a lot of them probably know how to spell Sifu.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, not a lot
I
of
mean,
Americans, basically. I mean, I'm saying probably know how to spell Sifu. Well, not a lot of people in general know how to spell Sifu.
yeah, I
Uh,
would have spelled his name with a C, like the letter
mhm.
C dash Fu, like Kung Fu, right? Like
Uh-huh.
Sifu, because he's into the whole martial arts thing, so like C dash Fu.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Or maybe we could pull a Sifu and ask him, "How do you spell your name?" Like,
Poor Sifu, man. I mean, I don't know if did he ever have any agency in this game? No,
no, no,
he was
no.
comic relief the entire time, right? For the
Yeah, more or less.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. I really love this episode. Like this whole season is just like top notch Survivor. This is some of the like going back and watching some of the older seasons. Like this is an all time
Mm,
Survivor season thus far, right?
mm, exactly.
Um, and like I suppose that's the high there because I do have a lot of quote unquote lows, but that doesn't mean that this wasn't a great episode as part of a great season. Not this isn't the best episode of
Mm-hmm.
the season, but it's still a really good episode in a really good season of Survivor. So I don't have too many highs.
Mm-hmm.
Um but I'm here for Bruce's heel turn. Like that's one of
Mm-hmm.
the highs.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
sort of like the way that they're showing um the inverse of
Emily.
the Emily story arc,
Yeah.
and like right at the beginning of the season they had him
Oh,
juxtaposed against each
yeah.
other, right? Like, here is the face that is Bruce and the heel that is Emily, and then they're doing a double turn.
Mm-hmm.
um and it's almost complete, I guess, with Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
the Bruce heel turn is here. We could, and this speaks to uh Survivor production and Survivor editing, because if you look at all of the moves, and if you look at all of the things that have been going on the excuse me, all of the things that have been going on in the island, Bruce has been like on top of everything.
Mm-hmm.
He's always been in on the vote.
Oh, okay.
he always knows what's up. Like he knows when people are talking about him. He knows get how to get the target onto somebody else. Like all of that sort of. He's very observant,
Mm-hmm.
and that could very easily be a hero edit,
Mm-hmm.
but production is giving us like evil Bruce
Mm. The
or
paranoid Bruce, or
yeah,
the yeah, the
paranoid, bossy, annoying Bruce.
yeah,
You know, like he's getting he's getting a villain edit when all of the moves that he's making could just as easily be edited as like heroic. Wow, what an astute player of the game.
yeah,
You know, like yeah, he knows when people are talking about him, so he talks to Emily and she manages to I don't know, tell him what needs to be done or whatever, you know. He they could have cut out all of this stuff with like Kelly complaining about him in this
yeah,
episode, but they kept that all in, and they're giving Bruce the heel turn,
yeah.
and it's sort of a master class in like reality television storytelling.
To give us an actual, especially one who was earlier projected as being like a hero, because he's like the guy who got injured right off the bat in the previous season. So he's got to be, he comes back as a hero. He's like, wow, he's back. People like him. Jeff likes him. Jeff liked him so much that he invited him back to play again. And then all of a sudden he's becoming this villain. And I really like the fact that you pointed out that him and Emily were juxtaposed at the start, and it's now seemingly Emily who might come in to slay the dragon, right? The dragon that is Bruce later on.
Yeah, so this is like our prediction is going to be that Bruce gets rid of Katura and then
Mm-hmm.
Emily gets rid of Bruce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's something to watch out for. That's something we'll watch out
Yeah.
for. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
so
for
there's
for yeah,
the Bruce heel turn.
Bruce Hilton. That's brilliant. Um, for me, I actually have a couple of non-story. Well, it affects the way that the story was told, but I have a couple of post-prod highs,
Mm.
editing highs, basically. Uh, them cutting to certain things as Jeff or someone else was talking, right? So it's like, for example, in the challenge, the immunity challenge, just as Jeff says, those footholds are very small. It is very difficult. Bam! Focus on whose feet? D's. And then she kisses the pole as if she's saying, "This win is mine. This win is mine." All right. So that's one. Next, the second, the second time that the second time Jeff says, thanks to the huge efforts of D, them winning the reward, and whoever gets voted out from their group goes to the jury. I think Jeff probably wanted to say thanks to the big toes instead of efforts, right, of D, right? So yeah, and then the last one is like Kaleb mentioning, and this was in tribal. Kaleb mentions 12 votes, and then you cut to right behind him a smirking Austin.
Yeah.
All of these things that prod, that post prod, that editing caught and put out there, they just, it's a wink to the audience. It's like, this is what you've been waiting for, this, right? And we know that you know, right? You know something that Kaleb doesn't know, something like that. That was really nice editing, nice storytelling for me. They're really getting better and better at doing all of these little hints, little payoffs that we get from things that we expect, from things that we theorize uh, before in prior episodes.
It makes me wonder if the dramatic irony of it is going to pay off. Like the 12 votes,
Mm,
the like 12 votes. Actually, it was 11 votes. Like I wonder how that's gonna pay off if other than the fact that he has an idol now. Like I don't know, but yeah,
Mm,
it was a great touch. It was a
yeah,
great touch.
because actually the only guy who was able to, oh no, Emily was the one who right, she was the one who figured out that there were less votes that were cast before
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
previous vote, right?
yeah,
Yeah. That's because she works with numbers, so she would always take note of what's happening. Right.
yeah.
So, like, yeah, in Austin. Yeah, we'll wait and see, because now, what does Austin have? He has a full immunity idol. What
hmm
does the amulet do now? It's now
It's
steal. Is
no,
it
I think it's a
steal?
steal a vote. Yeah,
Steal a vote, and then, well, the goodwill advantage is actually Drew's, right? The safety without power.
yeah. The safety without power is Drew. Um, I think that's all Austin has now. He used the goodwill advantage to
Oh, to
regain
recover
a
the
vote,
vote.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
in like
yeah.
so.
When he sacrificed his vote previous, that was masterful. And I think Martin mentioned that in our previous episode.
Yeah,
Yeah, how he was able to do that. Yeah. And going back to what you were saying about Bruce's heel turn and how he was being juxtaposed with Emily. I also like the fact that Emily, right after that almost vote out of Caleb, knew that she can't be seen to be too chummy or
mm,
defensive of Caleb, right?
yeah,
So while she has that obligation, no, not she has that tie, that bond with Caleb. She knows, because she's analytic. She analyzes things, so she knows that even though she told Caleb the numbers are with you, she knows that the numbers aren't there. Right?
yeah,
That again, she may not be a full-fledged. She might be an anti-hero, right? She might be an anti-hero. She might not necessarily be like the good-natured person.
yeah. It's like I forgot who it was. Oh, it was like Jam Jam, right? Like
Mm,
uh, Jam Jam was the type of player um who would tell people that basically they're safe and then vote
mm,
them out. And like
mm,
the if ever Jam Jam would lie to somebody,
mm,
it was that person that he lied to that went home.
mm.
Like I think Emily can sort of play that kind of game as well, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like whoever Jam Jam blindsides is the one that goes home. So he he's a he's an honest player, except when he has to be dishonest,
Yeah.
and that's Survivor. And the more dishonest you are, the worse it is for your game,
Hmm.
right? Like that's the weird thing about Survivor, right? The more dishonest you are, the worse it is for your game. Like the perfect game of Survivor is you lying 17 times, well 15 times.
Hmm.
The perfect game of Survivor is lying 15 times, and each time you lie to somebody's face, they go
Yeah,
home
yeah,
for
they
that
go home.
tribal, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
You don't
I don't
lie
know.
unless it's necessary.
Yeah,
Unless you're like writing well, yeah, writing their name on the parchment for them to go home,
yeah.
and making it sure that they go home. Yeah. Yeah. Any other highs for you?
Just a little. You alluded to it earlier,
Hmm.
when D was holding on to that big pole thing. It
Yeah.
was so badass when she said something like,
We're gonna
"We're
eat.
gonna eat." Yeah,
We're gonna eat.
I was like,
Also that was also on mine. I
oh,
was like, I love the confidence of D.
Yeah,
she's fast becoming my favorite player. She's fast
yeah,
becoming my favorite player. She because she's Latina, so she's like she's not gonna back down,
yeah,
right? And then she can do endurance challenges, like so yeah. And I love that confidence, the confidence that she showed there. That was just really, really good.
yeah. It's like my I mentioned this a couple of episodes ago. How like Filipinos, we find sometimes we find confidence to be cocky, right? Like
Mm,
when I was talking to my wife about Drew's game, right? A couple of episodes ago. Like the podcasters in the US were like, yeah, he's confident, he's confident. My wife's like, he's cocky. Like D I think is for I suppose the Asian mindset, which
mhm,
in the Philippines is basically the South American mindset,
mhm,
um, because of our history, because of our shared history with South America.
mhm.
You know, apparently the international date line used to run from like the North Pole and then like slide over to the Philippines and then go back down to the South Pole because we Spain wanted us to be on the same day as Mexico because
Oh,
like all of the trade was between like the Philippines and Mexico because we were sort of a sub
yeah,
colony of
yeah.
we were a sub colony of Mexico. So apparently like the international date line wasn't the line, you know, down the Pacific Ocean. It swung over to the Philippines and went down, you know, until about like the 1800s or something. Like I saw some old textbooks that had the international date line like that. Like,
Uh-huh.
whoa.
Whoa.
Oh, we have a very shared history with South
Yeah.
America. And so that confidence is something that's a bit more palatable, I
Mhm,
guess, to people in the Philippines and perhaps Asia, right? Where we
mm,
have where we're a lot less um standoffish.
mm.
I don't know.
And the fact that the way that she said it, because I don't quite remember the instance with Drew, um, because the way that Dee was saying it, she wasn't standoffish because uh, it was merely her recognizing that okay, Kelly is giving up. I
Yeah.
still have a lot in the tank. I can stay here for as long as I can. I can do this all day, right? And that's why that's why they came out, right?
Yeah. I don't know. It was just it was a goosebumpy moment for me.
Mm.
It's just like we're gonna eat. Like, oh yeah, you go, girl.
And then you got Jake afterwards saying, first tacos for D, huh? First tacos for D.
God, Jake is so awkward. I love him. I love him
Yeah,
so much.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And especially now that yeah, he's got an injured foot. He's got
Yeah,
an injured right leg, right foot, I believe. So even his walk is awkward now. He walks like he's half drunk.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
what other highs do you have?
Oh, actually, that was my last high. The one that you just mentioned.
Oh,
Yeah.
uh, yeah. So I suppose I have a high
Mm,
that's maybe a low. I'm still reflecting on my feelings about this.
mm,
But the flash forward,
mm, mm,
that was a bit of an issue, well, a bit of a talking point, I suppose, in the Survivor community.
mm,
Um, I don't know if you watched Lost,
no,
that
not
TV show
yeah, yeah,
from the mid 2000s,
yeah.
but there was one season where we thought throughout the whole season we were watching a flashback, and then all of a sudden, right at the very end, spoilers for
Mm.
almost 20-year-old show at this point, where where Jack's character tells the character of the Wasp. I can't remember her name. Where he tells her like, we have to go back, and all of a sudden we realized like, oh my god, we're watching a flash forward. Like that was kind of what it felt like to see that. It's like, oh my god, it's a flash forward. There was a show called Flash Forward at one
Yeah,
point.
there was, and it didn't last. I don't even think it lasted a whole season.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't. I don't think it was very. I don't remember it being very good, but it
Mm.
was like Lost had a flash forward, and it was like
Mhm.
kind of mind blowing to to have that reveal, and it was just as jarring to see it in Survivor, and the reason I bring up Lost and Flash Forward is I don't know how to feel about it. Do I feel lost or do I feel flash forward about it? I'm like, all right, this is amazing, or is it like, oh, this is a show that should be canceled after the first season? Like, I,
Well,
I don't know.
isn't it? Yeah, it's sort of similar to Jesse's plan, right?
Yeah, but that was a flashback.
Was it a flashback? Was it? Wasn't it like this is the plan,
Oh yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
it's sort of the same as this one, but this one, uh,
But Jesse, the three, like, here are the three steps.
yeah.
Yeah,
What
that
are the
was,
three things that you need? Right?
yeah, for a good blindside or whatever. That was good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, I know you were saying.
yeah. But this one, they went straight to the tribal.
Yeah.
And yeah, I want to pick your brain about that. Uh, do you know the I don't quite see the logic of that plan actually. So they wanted so there it was going to end up a 3-3 vote, right? That's how they planned it out. It was going to end up a 3-3 vote. It was going to be Jake, Kaleb, and Katura, and
Mm-hmm.
then the Reds. So that's Austin, D, and Mama Julie. So it's going to be 3-3. And then after that,
Mm-hmm.
so they're going to revote because it was gonna be all three on Kaleb, all three on Julie, right?
Yeah.
And then revote. Julie and Caleb are safe. That's what happens, right?
Yeah.
Or right? And they have then they will only they'll only vote, and then on one side you'll only have Austin, who's safe because who's not safe because D has the immunity necklace, and then you've got two here.
Yeah. So,
And then
um,
if that is a deadlock again, they go to rocks,
yeah.
right? And then they wanted to use that plan to scare Austin to vote with them.
Yeah.
But we never saw them talking to Austin, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Did they miss a step? Or did prods think that it wasn't necessary because Katura's gonna turn anyway?
Or I just read it as I read it as Jake didn't want to mention that to Austin while they were scrambling. That way he couldn't get it. That way he couldn't get that information back to Julie and D. And in tribal, when it's a 3-3 split, um, sort of not blindside, but I guess blindside Austin or get him to make a decision on the spot.
After the 3-3 split.
After the 3-3 split, that's when they start talking to Austin about switching his vote.
But if he switches his vote, who would he vote for? He can't vote for D.
Julie.
Oh, do they get to vote again? And huh?
Yeah,
They get to vote
the
again,
revote,
but
the revote,
and during
because
the
it's
revote, the two who were voted out, who received votes, won't vote again, but
yeah.
they can be the only two that can be voted out. Is that what happens?
I think that's how it. I think that's how it works.
Mm.
So what they were thinking, or what Jake was thinking, was vote um tie,
Hmm.
and then on the revote, they just need
Austin to
Austin to
vote
flip.
Julie.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I don't know.
Would would it have worked if they had scared Austin earlier?
I don't think it would have worked
Why? Why do you think so? Why don't you think it would have worked?
because he would have brought that information back to D and Julie, and they could work harder to pull Katura in.
Mm. Which wasn't hard because for me that was one. Yeah, okay. Do you have any more highs? Because actually, this is going to one of my lows already.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it. I'm not sure how I feel about the flash
Yeah,
forward
the
because
flash forward.
you know, um, it, it was really cool actually because it's really cool, and as somebody that kind of knows how Survivor is edited,
Hmm.
like even without the flash forward, you can already kind of tell where the votes are going to lie in tribal because you can see the tribe split through, or how the tribe is split um, during the scramble.
Mm.
So, like in terms of it being a spoiler, I wasn't too bothered by it,
Mm.
but it just felt weird, you know. No, there was also like a group of people who were mentioning that in every heist movie, when they show the plan, you know that that's not how it's going to go.
Mm.
Like, you know, when you watch any of those Oceans movies, they always have this scene where they're sitting around in like a boardroom or something, and they're like, "All right, here's the plan," and then they show what's supposedly like a flash forward, but then it never works out.
Yeah.
So if they're using that sort of visual language in Survivor, then in watching that, you know that that's not what's going to happen because you're used to the language of the heist movie,
Hmm.
right? Like, all right, here's the plan, and you know that that plan is going to fail. So I guess some people didn't like it because it was more of a spoiler because of what they knew about heist movies. I'm not 100% convinced um, with that argument,
Hmm.
uh, but it is something that is out there um, as well. But like I said, I'm not sure. It just feels kind of weird to to see tribal,
Mm.
you know, to
Even
see.
even to the point of like seeing the top view of the votes, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, so
yeah.
I even had like I had to do a double take because I thought I saw Caleb write Caleb. I was like, huh? I saw his hand writing down Caleb.
Yeah, but then at the same time, it's like it's something new, you know. Like if Survivor production didn't swing for the fences, we you know we wouldn't have a Survivor basically because it would have been exactly like it was back when they were in Borneo.
Mm.
You know, if they didn't try new stuff out, we wouldn't have Survivor as we know it now.
Yeah.
Um, and sometimes they have a swing and a miss, you know. But again, like I said, I'm not entirely opposed to it. But then could be just because it's new.
Mm.
If you get, if you get what I mean, it's like in the moment I found it cool, but then that was but it could be just because of the fact of its novelty.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a it's a high, but it's a low, but it's a high, but it's a low.
It's somewhere there. It's lost in between the highs and the lows.
We have to go back.
Oh.
That was actually like the lost theme. The lost theme was like this low. I think it was it might have been a tuba or something.
Mm.
which
Oh,
was
okay.
supposed to make us feel like a plane crash.
Plane crash. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, well, anyway.
Anyway. Anyway. So yeah. So let's go ahead with our lows, and of course, our top low. Caleb's
Caleb.
gone. Caleb's gone. Uh,
Yeah, we none of us had that in
no,
our or was it
no. I
or
think Martin. Martin, I
Martin?
think said that it might be Caleb on one
Uh,
side.
he said Kelly, or
Oh,
well,
was it?
my note
Or was it also you? I think you
my note
said.
was Kelly. Mine was Bruce and Sifu or Katura and Sifu.
Oh, yeah.
So
No, yeah. I think Martin said if the war between red and blue heats up, right? That was what he's saying. What was that? It? No, or
um
was that from previous episode?
yeah, it might
That
have
was
been
from the last episode. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, so I do remember us. I do remember some of us saying like um feel nervous for Caleb because it could just be it could just
Prolonging
be
the
yeah,
inevitable.
prolonging the inevitable. Um I will say though, I called Sifu.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. Sifu. Again, the guy really did not have any other role outside of being the most garbed castaway for this season. Right, he had all of
Yeah.
those costs. He had all of those clothes, and being able to do a 1 inch punch uh, on a tree and not feeling it. Right,
Yeah.
and yeah, he really didn't trying to do a Vlahos 2.0, but not really becoming a Vlahos negative one. Uh,
Yeah, there was I remember I remember somebody one of the Rob has a
mm,
podcasts, I can't remember which one, mentioning that Sifu in his interviews talked about how he was just kind of having fun and all of that sort of thing. Like he was messing around, he was joking, but then um, in in Survivor, it's about self awareness,
mm-hmm,
and you know you might think that you're just uh, messing around when you have your spy shack or whatever. Like it might be a joke, but it's about perception.
mm-hmm,
So like Survivor is that game where it doesn't matter what you meant. What matters is what people think you meant,
yeah,
which is
yeah,
life, you know,
yeah,
which is life. Um, especially like these days. Um,
exactly.
but yeah, so Caleb not seeing that he was being misinterpreted, I guess,
Mm,
was you know his downfall, right? That lack of not so much self awareness, but I guess awareness of what other people thought about him.
mm, yeah, yeah, yeah. For me, the past two episodes, Caleb made two wrong. They were risks. They were calculated risks, but they did not pay off correctly for him. Right?
Mm.
The previous calculated risk was him throwing the Reba women under the bus, right? In the effort to move the target away from his back, right?
Yeah.
And not wanting to ostracize or separate himself totally from the entire Reba tribe, he focused on the Reba women because there were two Reba women
Mm.
in the unsafe group, right? And so that's why he focused on that. And then his second miscalculated risk was telling Katura about Bruce. Was it absolutely necessary for him to tell Katura about Bruce's idol, I don't think that Austin would have thought to talk to Katura because they were already all in on Caleb, right? So I don't know. I don't know what I don't know why uh they thought it better to tell Katura there and then. They told her too late
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, they either told her too late or told her too early.
Mm.
But Jake, that's another
Mm.
that's a low, particularly since Jake is my canonical winner pick. But before that, but before we get into that, um, do you think Katura made the right call?
Switching.
Yeah.
Well, now when they go back, they Reba will still be one member out because Sifu went home.
Mm.
So there are four Reba left, right? Is it? Yeah, it's the core four left. It's the
Mm-hmm.
core four left, and then there will still be five, technically five Bello, and then but Emily is where's she connected now?
Reba.
She's connected with Reba, so she's the fifth. So it's still,
It's
and
still
then
five
if
five.
since Katura voted with Reba in this last tribal, so Reba has the advantage. But based on the next on, we did see brewing all female alliance.
You think that's a thing? I don't think that's a thing. It's too big a group.
A group
It's
of six.
yeah, one, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
six out of two, three, four,
10.
five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like too big a group.
Yeah. I put more stock in the core four.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Drew Austin, Julie, and
And D.
D have a really good thing going, and it would be
Mm-hmm.
foolish, I think, for D and
And
Julie to
Ju.
just throw that away for an untested girls alliance.
Mm-hmm.
But
And yeah, it's also probably because Kendra and Kelly, after finding out that Katura has switched sides, now they know that Bello is in shambles, right? Bello is in shambles.
yeah,
It's not really solid in him. It's not Bello strong anymore, right?
the way to make it Bellows strong is to get rid of Bruce.
True. But then again, if you get rid of Bruce, well, yeah, it
Katura
becomes
Katura comes
Katura comes
back.
back. But there'll only be four of them, and there'll be five on the other side.
Ah, yeah, point. So they does this mean that Emily is going home?
She might be the next target. She might be the next target.
Uh,
Yeah, because they're gonna want to balance out things.
oh, my Elseworlds winner pick.
Unless the
My
core four is able to
non-canon,
save her.
my non-canon winner pick. Yeah, another down for Caleb going out.
Mm,
Because Caleb goes out, or because Caleb went out. Sorry, rather. Uh, we don't get to see that reckoning between Emily and Caleb because, like, they were supposedly, at least if last season was something to go by. Um, Caleb and Emily should have been the strongest alliance in the game, and
mm,
in a way, they kind of were.
mm,
Um, and Emily was with Reba, and Caleb was with Bello, and I was kind of looking forward to see that sort of reckoning
mm,
of they have to make the choice, like, where are we going to go, and to see the argument between Caleb and Emily being like, no, this is why we have to stick with Reba, no, this is why we have to stick with Bello. Like, I was looking forward to that because
yeah,
that
well,
was I don't know.
yeah. Unfortunately, we won't get to see that anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a low.
Yeah. Well, I actually just have one more low here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and this is something that I think production has been asking them to do a lot more. But and I know that at times I've already said this in previous seasons, but this is the first time that I'm seeing it here in this season.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's just the first time that it's finally gotten to me. But the reactions are again becoming too much for me. Tacos and soft drinks. Oh, and then you've got Bruce. I love me some tacos right now. Like,
Yeah.
I know that you guys are hungry. I know that you guys haven't really eaten food for like what 15 days. Uh, well, technically, I mean, they do still get like the well, it's raw papaya, but they still get some of that, right? And they
Coconuts.
just came from coconuts, and they just came from some of them just came from the feast and all of that. So
Yeah.
I really don't. Some of the reactions were just really you're just playing it up for the camera, you know.
Yeah.
Rod was
And
telling you to do that.
yes, I was gonna say it's probably the producers being like, no, be more excited. Come on.
It's tacos.
Yeah. All the way back to like season one, right?
Mm.
When they were scared that they were going to riot because the reward was like one beer or something. You know that story, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When I don't know, when what's his name? When Richard Hatch was like, "No, we're not going to do this," like because the reward is one beer, and there was like a revolution brewing. Um, but yeah, production probably coaxed them on to overreact. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I suppose they were looking forward to good things happening.
Yeah. Well, good things happening where yeah, well, in the sanctuary still nothing good has still happened. I mean, not in the sense that I want it to happen like hidden immunity idol clues or whatever, hidden
Yeah,
advantages. Still nothing at all.
yeah. Here's my low, Jake,
Okay, yeah.
because I'm not 100% convinced that telling Katura about the idol in and of itself was the wrong move.
Mm-hmm.
The like they could have just said that like yeah, Bruce like found an idol. Um and that's about it, but he had to go into the whole that's why I was saying that I didn't have my ring and lost my ring and all of that, right? Like the elaborateness of it,
Mm-hmm.
or how elaborate the entire scheme was,
Mm.
made a fool out of Katura, and
Mm.
I'm not surprised that she, flipped, because it's sort of like the devil you know, the devil you don't, right? So she was like, man, these guys pulled something like that, and it went much deeper than just simply Bruce finding an idol, but coming up with this whole thing about losing your ring and all of that sort of thing. Like that was very blindsiding, and I'm not sure that that was the best thing to tell Katura. They might have been able to tell her about the idol, um, as a way to say like, yeah, I get it. I can see now why you don't like Bruce. Katura, you were right. And now we need to tell you this information because it's going to make because we have to blindside Bruce. We can't just vote him out. Blah blah blah
Mm.
blah blah. Instead of making it about what you did to her make it about how she made you change your mind, and you accomplish building trust, and you stroke her ego. I
Yeah.
think that would have been the better move for Jake.
Yeah.
So, what are you doing, Jake? The game starts today. Uh, he's getting a bit of an Owen edit in a way, right? Or he's getting into that Owen game where he doesn't have any agency, and when he does try to pull something off, it falls flat.
Mm.
Mm. Oh, I guess rewinding to the highs a little bit. I
Yeah.
did he say wicked smart, or he said wicked something, which is like a very Boston thing to say. Like people in California say hella, people in New York say mad, people in Boston say wicked. So it's like hella smart, mad smart, and wicked smart. I like hearing like I like hearing those sorts of things in like TV. You know, when people talk using regionalisms and talk using like local English dialects, like it's a lot of fun. Anyway, yeah, Jake, man, what are you doing?
Yeah. Jake was that was yeah, I agree with you. And I agree with what you said that it was more of Jake saying how they found it. That's what really pushed Katura over the edge.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
not not that Bruce found it, but it was their idol without her,
Yeah.
as opposed to it's Bruce's idol. You were right. We need to take him out.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, sad, and also he's not doing as well as we thought he would be.
Well, we'll see. He can still
he's, he's
turn
he's he's
things
still
around.
he's still you know I guess I'm hoping I'm hoping it's like a Gabler thing, right? Where
Hmm.
like around the merge we were all like, yo, Gabler isn't gonna do very well. Like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? You're making a fool of yourself. And he goes on to win the whole thing. Like, yeah, that could be Jake. That could be Jake. Although historically, right, the first boot um in the past like 4 seasons, the first boot, the winner had a hand or had a story be told in the merge boot episode.
Mm.
So like the big names in this episode and perhaps the last one could have a lot of winner equity. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
And for the record, I think Jake's plan would have worked with
With getting Austin on onto
getting
their side.
Austin on board. Yeah, yeah,
It was
because
yeah,
of,
it was actually a good plan to target Julie, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
and to get Austin, like I think because of all of the firepower that Austin had and the connections that he made on the beach, he probably would have been okay with flipping because he has an extra life in the game, even if that's the mistake, even if that's a mistake,
Mm.
as opposed to a 1 in 3, 1 in 4, 1 in 3 chance at going home.
Mm.
Like um I think if Jake had been better with Katura, and if and it came to like trying to convince Austin to switch over, you have two lawyers telling him like this is why you should be switching
Mm.
over. I
True.
don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Julie's a lawyer as well, right? She's like
Yeah, she
a
is. She is. She's
a bit.
what something to do with property? Is she properties lawyer?
I don't remember. Let me look that up.
Yeah.
Let me look that up.
Yeah, I think she's a properties lawyer. Jake. Yeah, I think Jake still has a life in the game. Although if you base it on the way that his face looked when when it was clear that Caleb was going home, his face was so smushed.
Yeah.
You could see how he was so sad.
Oh,
She
she's an estate attorney.
estate attorney. Okay.
Yeah, so she handles things like wills and that
Oh
kind
yeah,
of thing. It looks like.
yeah.
Oh, that would have been really cool, man. It'd be like an episode of Boston Legal or something.
And then Katura outs herself later on that she actually is a lawyer because she hasn't. I
Yeah,
don't think she's outed herself yet. Right?
yeah, yeah.
And then Austin's right there in the middle.
That would have been really cool. That would have been really cool.
Yeah,
But you know, yeah, I think it would have worked.
yeah.
But
No, what one question though? I want to ask you this. Do you think that Jake made the right move owning up to the idea? Because at as Caleb was
oh
leaving,
yeah,
Jake
yeah, yeah.
said, "Julie, it was me. We can talk." You think
I
that
think
was a
so.
good move for him,
I think so. I think so.
rather than just pinning it on Caleb and then because Caleb's in the jury.
Yeah, and I think it was. I think it was because um Reba seems to be playing a a radically honest game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that might be a good thing, if that makes sense. Like owning up owning up to it.
Mm.
Because yeah, they're playing a radically honest game.
Yeah, especially the core four. They're like honest and loyal. That's what they've got.
Yeah.
They are very loyal to each other.
Yeah. So that's that's my thought on it. Like it might work. It might work.
And see, we'll see how that affects the episode next week. Any other lows?
Yeah, I feel really bad for Sifu not making the jury.
It was his lifelong dream to be on the jury. He said so in
Yeah.
a confessional.
It was a lifelong dream. But yeah, that was tough, man. That was tough.
Yeah. But then
I don't
again,
know.
I think that they were correct in the fact that if Sifu had been on the jury, no one would know where he would vote. He'd be such a wild card, and he'd be the mayor of Ponderosa.
Yeah.
And it'd be so weird and wild.
Yeah. But hey, you know, it's just really sad. It's really sad. Um, yeah, it's impossible for them to have a nine-person jury
Mm.
because there's the potential for a 3-3-3
Hmm.
at the end if it's
Yeah.
a final three.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah. Anyway, then
that's
that's it for your lows.
just one more like
Mm.
gameplay low. Um, the fact that they were put at Lulu, the fact that the losers of the immunity challenge were put at Lulu Beach,
Why?
so they couldn't bring any of their firepower to tribal.
Mm.
Like,
Why is it a law? I mean, I think that was the whole. No, I don't think that was the whole point.
I mean, that was kind of the point, right? To keep them on their toes and all of
Mm.
that sort of thing. But like, I don't know. It would have been nice to have like that little bit of firepower. Um, that way, like, say if it had gone to if it had gone to the point where they had to convince Austin has his firepower and it's a tangible sort of, this is what I have to lose. Am I willing to weigh this against a 1 in 3 chance of going home? You know, what's his name could have misplayed. Drew could have totally misplayed and did his use his peace out advantage
Mm-hmm.
incorrectly, which could have added a layer of drama. It's sort of back to the idea of giving players agency,
Mm-hmm.
like sort of giving players the choice to make the right or wrong decision.
True.
And part of that is the advantages that Survivor has put in. I don't know, the fact that they didn't have access to a potential decision making point, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It was just kind of a low that they didn't have their idols and stuff.
Yeah. Well, didn't some of them actually still bring their bags to the challenge?
Yeah, some
It
of them
was,
do.
I mean, Drew, just like how, what's his name? The Franny's guy,
Matt.
Matt. You're right. Exactly the same thing happened, right? And it was
Yeah,
exactly in the same kind of challenge.
yeah. So what we're saying is, when they do the whole "you're gonna go to a new beach" twist, they're all gonna
Mhm.
bring their stuff again. All right.
Yeah, they
Okay.
ought to. They ought to. I mean, if you're the challenge right after merge, you have to bring your stuff.
Yeah.
that's that's the pointer there. That's the thing to learn. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where women have an advantage. They can stuff idols in their bras and stuff, or they
Well,
can, they can
Bruce can
stuff
like,
enamel.
yeah, Bruce can put it in his zipper.
Yeah, it's true. I really want those shorts. I mean, not those shorts specifically, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
although
yeah.
we
Shorts
could,
like those.
or we could make a killing on eBay though, if we had like Bruce's actual shorts with a zipper that had Flint in it.
Yeah,
Anyway, that's it. The
yeah.
lows, the lows.
Okay.
Again, though, great episode.
Great
A
episode.
great episode. Sometimes it's the lows that make the episodes great. Other
Mm.
times it's the lows that make the episodes crap. I'm looking at you, Survivor 41. Uh, I'm just looking at you, Survivor
Yeah, Survivor
41.
41. All right. Yes, let's go ahead and move over to our predictions, starting with whose line is it actually? And we
We
got it.
called it.
I think that it was such a it was pretty obvious actually
Yeah,
that it
that
was
was
gonna
a that
be
was a gimme.
yeah yeah it's gonna be just like the I'm not Batman, I'm the Canadian.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, taking the Survivor, taking the fun out of us and trying to figure out whose line it is actually. Yeah. But this next week though, this next episode is it's pretty cryptic. The title is "Following a Dead Horse to Water."
yeah.
Because I don't know. I mean, when I tried to look for the what do you call
It's
this?
it's
The
a
saying,
yeah. It's a mix of two idioms, right? Like,
yeah, beating a
you
dead
can
horse,
beating a dead horse and bringing,
bringing a
you can
horse to
bring a
water.
horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Yeah,
You obviously can't bring a
you
dead
can't
horse to
follow a
water
dead
to.
horse to water.
A dead horse can't drink.
Yeah.
The most famous dead horse is the one of the headless horsemen.
Yeah. Right?
I don't think that needs to drink.
I don't know. So I don't know. I don't know. Yes, it's pretty cryptic. I don't know. I don't know what. I don't know. What do you got? Who do you think? Whose line is it actually?
So what we're saying is, who is most likely to screw up an idiom?
True, that can be one.
Kendra.
Kendra. Oh, I can. Okay. All right.
Yeah. My wife really loves Kendra. I was having I was doing a Zoom with my little brother a couple of days ago, and we were talking about Survivor, and we were asking like, who's your winner pick? Who's your winner pick?
Mm,
And my wife kept on saying, Kendra, she's so weird. And yeah, this sounds like the sort of thing that she would say.
mm. Who would
Either
be
either Kendra or Austin.
okay? Who would be the dead horse?
Uh, she's not talking about. I don't think that they'd be talking
Oh,
about somebody as a dead horse, right? It would be it you come to think about it. Wait, let me look at the line again. Um, yeah, following a dead horse to water. I would assume that I would assume that whoever said it was trying to make a point out of the futility of something.
hmm yeah, hmm yeah,
Like like reasoning with this person is like following a dead horse to water, which
yeah.
is um to come to think of it, it might be Kelly talking about Bruce.
And that's actually my prediction that it's Kelly because we've been seeing her time and again being frustrated with how it's so hard. What she was what, Bruce is my burden. I think she said in this past episode.
Yeah. My God, she really is a nurse, right? Those
Yeah.
they have like uh, the patience of a saint twice over,
Mm.
like
Bruce
um
is my burden. Yeah, so I really think that that means that duo is their relationship is going to come to a head, or she's going to come to a point of choice
yeah,
with regards to Bruce.
yeah.
But
Um
if that does happen, so we're getting back to back titles alluding to Bruce, other people talking about Bruce, right? The thorn in my thumb, the dead horse being led to water that can't drink because it's dead.
yeah.
And what are you, stupid? You're following a dead horse?
Right, screw it. I'm gonna say it's Kendra talking about
Okay.
like the challenge or something.
Yeah. Because I'm sure that yeah, for me it's Kelly talking about Bruce. She'll be giving him a lot of opportunities. She'll be giving him pointers, you know what, you shouldn't be doing this, not too much with the questions and whatever, whatever. And then he still keeps on being his stubborn old annoying Bruce, right? Then he gets voted out. I'm going to predict that if it ends up that Kelly talks about Bruce.
Hmm. It could be talking about it could be Kendra talking about the auction, like an item at the auction. Like like buying that is like following a dead horse to water. Right, that's what I'm putting.
Mm, okay.
Kendra talking about the challenge
The challenge, not the auction. Oh, yeah,
slash the auction.
the auction.
You know this is probably way off. Let's let's do this because you already cornered the reasonable thought. So let's go for the bolder prediction.
Any other predictions for this upcoming week?
So your prediction is Bruce gets the
Uh,
boot if
if basically if Kelly gets the line.
okay if Kelly if Kelly gets the line. I like it.
Because it seems that we've it's been building up to something. All of this
Yeah,
the heel turn of Bruce.
yeah, and like you, I think this is going to be where um, the Bruce and Katura
Mm.
thing comes to a head.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
it feels if it goes up to like fire or something, like I've read some, I read somewhere like on a comment section or Reddit or something, that it would be cool if Bruce v Katura happens at fire,
Okay.
right? Because that's the only real place where it's truly one on one
Mm.
without having to wait for everybody to drop off. It's just it's truly like a one on one, mano a mano battle, and
Hmm.
it would be cool to see the Bruce versus Katura thing come to a head right there because of how it's been building up. But if that happens, it's very awkwardly paced. It's very
Mm.
awkwardly paced, right? Because it feels like we should be sort of at the climax of the Bruce versus Katura thing, the way that they've been building it up. Right? We
Yeah.
should be,
We shouldn't be there yet if we're going to have them at the fire.
yeah,
If fire is the payoff.
yeah. So it feels like this is where we should have our crescendo, shall we say?
Yeah.
You know. So I'm also going to say that it's the Bruce versus Katura episode,
Mm.
and
Sensible.
and because you have Bruce as your boot, I'm going to say it's Katura,
Ooh.
even though the more logical, even though the more logical choice would be Bruce. But then, come on,
Where's the fun in that?
Caleb wasn't really the logical boot, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, no more predictions for the week.
uh, question: are they going
Mm.
to have advantages in the auction?
Oh,
Like, how do you
I
think they're gonna do the
mm,
auction, or any predictions
big
for the auction, or
because
what you would like to see?
Jake picked up an advantage, right? He picked up an advantage off the top of the tree.
Yeah.
I think that that's gonna play into the auction. He might have extra cash,
Ooh.
to bid with. Right? That would be cool. Right? Everyone's like bidding $200 for like whatever, and then for the covered stuff, and then out comes this is an advantage, and then everyone's like 200, 200, 200, and then no, everyone's like, oh, Jake doesn't have any money anymore, blah blah blah, and all of a sudden comes out, picks it out of his pocket, bam, drops it.
Ooh. So you think it's like yeah, because it seemed a little too like conspicuous.
The placement
Yeah.
of the advantage, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
So what we're saying is it's it's like they get tree mail or something, and uh and Jeff is like, there's an advantage hidden somewhere. It's got extra money for the auction. Everybody go, or something like that.
Maybe. No, but then again, Jake was a little too casual in taking the advantage too. It was as if he was trying to hide the fact that he saw something and he just nonchalantly walks towards it and grabs it off the top of the branch. It wasn't as if it was he was going after it in a scramble.
It's the beware advantage.
Of Bello?
Yeah. That's why
Ooh.
it was all right. So here's my prediction.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Bello beware advantage, and the reason it was so conspicuous is because production was like, they didn't find it. Come on, let's go.
He's taken so long.
Yeah, beware
True.
advantage
That's nice. That's nice.
because Bello didn't get theirs.
Oh,
and
now that you're
production.
saying that it's the Beware advantage, I'm excited to see what the task is going to be.
Yeah, that's I don't know. What would the task be? Uh,
Right? It's hidden in under the sea. You have to fish or whatever. Is there an
uh.
island? Is there like a like one of
Well, actually, think about it.
the
It
rock?
can't be a beware advantage because
Oh yeah, because the Beware advantage
because
would have already lapsed, right?
yeah,
Died.
yeah, and he can't lose his vote. But let's just say that it's the Bello version of whatever idols like existed. It's the replacement for the beware
Mm,
advantage. He doesn't lose his vote, but he has to do something stupid or something fun.
yeah,
Let's just pencil that in.
yeah.
Um,
And then
yeah.
the task has to be you have to bid all of your money on the first thing, whatever it is.
Ooh. Uh, that's pretty cool.
Right? And then yeah, no, or say for example, you have to bid on a certain food. It's gonna be seen. You're gonna see it. It's a sandwich or something. You have to get that sandwich because the idol is actually inside the sandwich.
That'd be really cool. That would be really cool. And here's some extra money so you can do it. God, I so want that to be right. I so want that to be what happens. Like that's the advantage. Like he knows which item and he gets a little bit of extra like cash for it or something. Hmm. Hmm.
Right? But the sandwich itself, it's not like a BLT or anything like that. It's like I don't know, what Vegemite,
Oh.
Vegemite and sardines sandwich
Ugh.
or something like that.
Or a clue to the idol is baked into a cake or something like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So for the auction, um I'm hoping that there aren't any advantages
Mm,
that they can bid on.
mhm. It's most likely letters from home, right? I mean, that's something that they've done before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. I don't know, but then they uh but the letters from home thing was pretty much why they um oh no, it was because of advantages that Jeff got annoyed, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody was just holding out
Mm,
for the advantages.
yeah.
Actually, I do hope that they don't have any advantages, and I hope that Jeff says like, all right, here are the rules. There are no advantages in well, you're not going to be bidding on advantages, but they might be in some of the items.
Mm,
Like I hope he says that or
mm,
something to that effect. That way, nobody holds out for advantages.
yeah. There will be no known advantages that you
Yeah,
can bid
there.
on, right? Because there was a time like he would actually say this is an advantage in the upcoming challenge or whatever.
Yeah. So there, those are the predictions.
Yeah, that's a pretty
Oh,
cool slate
and
of predictions.
Girls Alliance isn't a thing. Yeah,
Core four all the way, I think.
yeah. So that's the prediction that we're both like agreeing on.
Yeah.
The Girls Alliance won't be a thing because of the core four.
Yeah. Or if ever it'll be like a secondary thing for D and Julie. It won't be their. The others might think that it's something, but for D and Julie, it's an option. But they are more solid with their core four.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So let's go ahead to survivors of the week, starting with Castaway of the week. I think that we both know it's D. All right.
Could be Kelly.
Kelly too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's either D or Kelly.
Yeah. For me,
D
it's
is
D.
really
Yeah.
badass, but then Kelly and the way she handled Bruce was just really good. It was yeah, the way she is handling Bruce is just spot on.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's a D first of all because she grabbed a foothold of that victory. Number two, she drove that vote, and the vote is basically she's the one who took out the early favorite, Kaleb.
Yeah.
So that makes her my castaway of the week. But yeah, Kelly is also a very viable castaway of the week.
Oh, and she gets D had what is probably the best line of the episode of the season, maybe.
You gotta eat. That could have actually been a better title. Here we go again. Better title for the episode. What could have been a better title for the episode?
That should be a recurring thing in our podcast.
Yeah.
That's kind of what our heroes at No Buffs do. They kind of title their podcasts. The way they titled their podcasts could have been like great titles for the episode of Survivor. I don't know, but yeah, probably a better episode title.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on to Goat of the Week.
Jake.
For you is Jake.
Yeah. Because of
he lost Kaleb. Basically, he lost Kaleb.
Yeah, and he tried to do something, and he tried to gain agency in the game, and it didn't quite work out for him, which puts him in a pretty bad spot. And he's associated with the heel, who has an idol, and the way that Survivor logic goes, you don't take out the actual threat, you take out their allies.
Yeah. That's what he wanted to do, right?
Yeah.
The threat was D. He wanted to take out Julie.
Yeah. So, if Bruce is the shield, if Bruce is the goat, right? Like the season's goat, because pretty much anybody can win against Bruce at the end. If final tribal were tomorrow, like everybody on that island currently would beat Bruce.
Yeah.
So the things don't look good for Jake.
Yeah, I also think the same thing. Him telling that him sharing that how they found Bruce's idol. Yeah, that's what lost them Katura, and eventually voted out Kaleb. Yeah. Anyway, purple of the week.
Martin.
Purple of the week is Martin for this week. Martin, when we miss you, dude. We miss you and your thoughts. Yeah, the man with the thoughts is not here. So yeah, Martin, we hope that you can join us next week. Come back soon. We know that you're having fun over there in Japan. But yeah.
my,
See you
my
next week.
my actual purple of my actual purple of the week is uh the wars that we were promised, right?
Mm,
The Reba Bello War and the Bruce Couture War
just hasn't
still aren't
happened.
here. They still aren't here. But I like Martin being our actual purple of the week. So that's the canon purple of the week for our discussion of season 45 episode 7.
Okay. All right. So, if that's it, nothing else. No more other
Uh,
thoughts. Okay, that's it for tonight's episode. We of course, mga kalaro, we would greatly appreciate it if you hit the like button. Once again, if you want to get more Survivor content on your through the algorithm, click like on this because it's Survivor content. You'll get more Survivor content afterwards. Also, so we don't get voted off the channel. At any rate, this has been Joel Parkon.
and I'm Zhao, and I'm gonna eat.
He's gonna eat. All right. We hope to see you again on the council soon. Until then, stay safe, everyone. The Titos have spoken.
Not really. I'm gonna eat.